I think with that, we now have 79 people and probably a few more will join us along the way, but I think it's a good idea to get started today. So let me start by welcoming everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope my volume is okay. If you'd like me to speak more loudly, please just let me know. My name is Amber Fletcher. I'm an associate professor of sociology at the University of Regina, and I'm also the academic director of the Community Engagement and Research Center, or CERC for short, at the University of Regina. So I'm joining here today from Treaty 4 territory in Saskatchewan, which is the territories of the Nehiyawak, the Anishinaabeg, the Lakota, the Nakota, the Dakota, and the homeland of the Métis. And we are here, as all of you are, I'm sure, to talk about community campus connection in the context of the pandemic. Before we begin though, and before we jump into things today, I'd like to take a few moments just to allow my two co-organizers, my wonderful co-organizers for this conference, to introduce themselves. So I'll just turn now to Magda Gomans, who is the manager for Community Campus Engage Canada. And Magda, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Sure, thanks Amber. Hi everybody. I'm Magda Gomans. I'm the manager of Community Campus Engage Canada, and I'm joining you today from my home office in Ottawa, located on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabeg people. And I'm very excited to join you today, and I really look forward to hearing conversations and what we have to share over the next 2 days. So I'll pass it along to Lynn as well.
Hi, my name is Lynn Gidluck, and I am also coming to you from Treaty 4 territory in Regina. I work with Amber at the University of Regina as the community director for the Community Engagement and Research Center. And everything's looking lush and green today in Regina, where it's pouring rain, and the rain is so needed. So we're all, I guess I'm a little too close to the farm to not be happy when it's raining. So we're so happy that so many people are able to join us today to have these conversations.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And before we jump into some of the logistics and overview of our two-day conference, I would like to introduce Elder Lorna Standing Ready. We are extremely honored to have Elder Lorna here with us today, and she'll be providing us with an opening blessing so we can begin the conference in a good way and hopefully carry that wonderful spirit throughout the rest of the conference as well. And we're very fortunate that Elder Lorna has agreed to be with us for the full 2 days and also to provide us with a closing at the end as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Elder Lorna Standing Ready.
Miigwech, thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day here. Oh, I went out and I say my prayers every morning. I face the east, the beginning of a new day, the beginning of new things to happen. And I walk around the house for the circle of life, and I pray as I go and wonder about nature. And today, oh, the beautiful rain, just invigorating. Oh, it just brings life, not only to the plants, but to each and every one of us who are so blessed to walk in the rain. So that's my morning. I do other things in the morning to pass my time in a good way since my husband passed away in 2004. What do you do? What do you do when you're alone? Anyway, I was given some tobacco. It's wrapped in a square, representing the 4 directions, the 4 grandfathers, the 4 seasons. There's a teaching in this. Yellow for the beginning of a new day, and the color of the sun. And pink in colonial times to represent a woman. Oh, there's so much teaching in this little package, so much. And I did smudge it this morning, and I smudged myself. Oh, what a wonderful time to think of Shamanatu, to think of the Creator. Yes, to be thankful I wake up in the morning. So I've been asked to say a blessing and a prayer. But before we even do that, I introduce myself. I was born and my parents gave me the name Lorna in recognition of one who had gone on, not in a good way, but in a way that nature took over. So, but I was able to keep my last name, Kiwaitan, the north wind. You've got to really understand it. It just doesn't mean north wind. It means more than that. And I'm so happy, so full of joy to be able to share what I've learned, what I grew up with. Because at one time I was ashamed of that. Going to residential school, I was given a number. That was how I was recognized. Oh, so much to tell, so little time. But my name today, after being married, is Lorna Standing Ready. Lorna Standing Ready, away with Chicago. And today, I come before you as Notaka Beta Mio Muskiki, old woman who brings good medicine. I'm a Kokum, a grandmother of 23 grandchildren. 2 are in the spirit world. 24 great-grandchildren. Oh, how blessed. So life goes on. And I'm also a graduate from the University of Regina. We don't talk about, we're not supposed to talk about what we do in our lives, what we've accomplished. It's for others to see. That is our culture. But in the colonial world, I've got a business degree. It was hard to come by because I was brought up traditionally. Oh, I could tell stories about astronomy. To me, it was the sky, the night sky. Biology, that's the colonial word, how I respected everything on earth. Oh, this is such a great conference you are putting on. It touches my heart. It touches my heart so that we can both open our eyes and educate one another. I'm a 10-year survivor of 3 residential schools, taken away. Yes, literally taken away. And my mother handing me over, because if they didn't hand me over, things would happen. Oh, so much to tell, so little time. But life goes on. From working in plucking chickens for Japanese farmers in Alberta, to being an assistant to my member of parliament and jobs in between. I've learned lots. Miigwech, thank you for the colonial way of being able to learn that way and to share what I was brought up with and not be ashamed anymore. Oh, it's just like a flower coming to bloom. So much to tell, so little time. And I know time is of the essence with this conference, so I leave it as is. But to mention, I did go to Australia to see the similarities of the stolen generation and the Indian residential school era. History in both countries. Oh, how blessed I was to go with a delegation from the United Church of Canada. With that, I would say a blessing for this great conference, and miigwech for allowing me to open up my mind further and maybe share a little bit of how I was brought up. It's history. It's all history in my life. So many, so much to tell, so little time. With that, I'll take my glasses off, and the only one ring I wear, copper, I place. I try and go before the Creator, the way I was brought into this world. I try my best. We're all born with a perfect spirit, and we all have our different bodies. To take good care of it. It's inside you. Reach deeper in all your deliberations in life. So with that, I hold this tobacco, powerful medicine. I prayed with the eagle feather, sending out our prayer, my prayer this morning for a good conference. So with that, in your own way, help me to start off in a good way, the way my ancestors did long ago. Hanakachapio, my great-grandfather, negotiator of Treaty 4, passed many of the lessons down. So with that, I take myself now back to my place of origin, beginning of learning about Geshemanito as I stood on an old rickety chair with Kokum, my grandmother, with her hand around me, telling me to pray. And looking out the east window, seeing Mushum, my grandfather, before he starts his chores, he looks at the tree line and slowly bows his head. And so too I bow my head, and Kokum too. And she said, Ma, listen, listen. And so I pray. Vishamanato, creator, maker of heaven and earth and the universe, and all that there is therein. We give you thanks. Make which for this day. Make which for a good night's rest. Make which for all you've given us, and for all that are gathered across this great land, Turtle Island. Be with each and every one of them, from great waters to great waters to great waters. Oh, Geshemanito, open up our minds, our hearts, and our whole being to talk good talk, to communicate in a good way with great respect and great understanding of each and every one of us, from the many backgrounds, from the many cultures and languages we speak. Let us honor one another in a good way through this time. Oh, Geshemanito, we are a pitiful people. And yet, each and every one of us has a gift to share, a gift that we can only see through our eyes and all that you've given us, our years, our spiritualities that we share. Through this new technology, may we strive to be understanding with one another, to get to know one another, spiritually as well. For without our understanding of that one who gave us this world to live in, who gave us our lives from different walks of life, Creator, Shamanito, be with us this day and in the days to come, to walk with one another and to think of that great one, Shamanito, to you in thought, word, or deed. Watch over us now and be with us. So these 2 days and beyond, Yeshamanito, bless us now as we continue on with this great talk. Oh, bless us. This we pray. Hi, hi, miigwech. Amen and amen.
Miigwech, Elder Lorna, thank you so much for opening our conference with such lovely words and for sharing your knowledge with us. And I think we're all very happy, delighted that you'll be with us these 2 days so that we can learn more from you. Thank you very, very much for being here. And as you say, so much to say and so little time. And I think we all have a lot that we want to learn and to discuss over these next 2 days. And I thank all 110 of you for being with us. And what I'd like to do next is to move to an overview of our conference and just sketch out some highlights that we're really looking forward to, so everyone has a good sense of what the next 2 days will be like. And of course, we understand that not everyone will be able to attend every part of the conference, but we do hope that you'll enjoy as much of it with us as you can. So as you can see from the program, and I hope that you've all managed to take a look at the program, which was sent out over Eventbrite, we have a series of excellent pan-Canadian keynotes of plenary sessions and keynote panels organized for the next 2 days, from the beginning to the closing. And we also have 2 regional discussion sessions that are built into today as well. So what that means is that you will have the opportunity in a couple of hours to choose to go to a particular Zoom link for your region. So there's a discussion for BC, for Alberta, for Saskatchewan and Manitoba together, for Ontario, and for Atlantic Canada. We'll also be hearing from some of our partners in Quebec on day 2. And they're going to tell us about a special Quebec-focused event that will be happening in the fall. So stay tuned for that as well. Through these discussions, as you know, we are here to talk about community campus connection and partnership in the context of the pandemic. So we have a few guiding questions looking at how communities and community organizations have been affected by the pandemic, innovative solutions and pivoting that's happened in response to it, and to also talk about the future potential for community campus partnership and what that can mean as we transition and hopefully see post-pandemic transformation of the ways that we currently do things. And so I hope that throughout these discussions, we can take that spirit of respect and mutual understanding that Elder Lorna has shared with us this morning and carry it through our conversations all the way. So I'd like to just take one moment before turning it over to my colleague Magda to highlight some of the key features of our program. So in day 1, we have, as I mentioned, several great keynotes and keynote panels, starting with Erica Shaker and Robin Shaban. And we then move into those regional discussions that we mentioned. You can already find the links for each of the regional discussions in the chat box if you scroll up, and you can see a link to the program, which Magda has recently shared as well. That contains all the Zoom links, so it should be fairly clear where everybody needs to go and when. We apologize for all of the many Zoom links, but that is, of course, the nature of a complex event during the pandemic period. So if you have any questions at all, you can let us know in the chat box. And if you'd like to speak, you're also welcome to indicate that in the chat box. And at that point, we can unmute you and you are welcome to ask any questions that you may have. Another way to participate is through our Padlet. So this conference is accompanied by a Padlet discussion you'll find on the CCEC website 3 major questions, and we would welcome your comments to those questions in the Padlet. Very easy, just type them into the Padlet wall in response to the discussion questions that we have. So you can not only participate today during the conference, but also on those Padlet walls over the coming months and all the way to the end of the year. And my colleague Magda will be telling you more about the broader Seizing the Moment project, which goes far beyond just these 2 days as well. So we'll get back to that in just a moment. Just some highlights from day 2. We also will be having reports back on day 2 from those regional discussion sessions. So we have a lot of wonderful RAs and regional leads who've been working with us and who will be presenting back some of the main ideas from the regional discussions today, so we can have a broader conversation about those. We're very lucky to have graphic recorder Melissa Kanzurski with us, and she'll be here throughout the whole event. And she's actually going to be drawing in illustrative form the conversations that we're having over these 2 days. She'll be presenting her drawing on day 2, and you can see an example of it right there, what it's going to look like. And she'll be filling in the key ideas and themes that come from these discussions over these 2 days. And we'll then conclude on day 2 with a real-time illustration where Melissa is going to draw our discussion as we have it about where we'd like to go in the future with community campus engagement. So we look forward to that. We also look forward to a performance from the acclaimed singer, songwriter, and pianist Jeffrey Straker on day 2 during the lunch break, and many, many other discussions along the way. So thank you all for being here. I would also like to just quickly say some thanks to our my wonderful co-organizers, Lynn Gidluck and Magda Gomans, to our regional leads who have spent a lot of time organizing and planning the regional discussions that you'll enjoy later. I would like to thank our 7 research assistants from here in Saskatchewan, and also research assistants in the regions across Canada as well. So we have a team of amazing student assistants for this project and project managers. And I would also like to definitely thank and credit our funder, the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, for providing funding for this event. Just a few quick notes in regard to Zoom participation. As I mentioned, you're welcome to type any questions you have in the chat box. Make sure you're typing to everyone if you'd like to share with everyone, or you can choose to ask your question privately to one of the organizers if you wish. We also have Steve Martin. We're very grateful for his support. Steve Martin from IT Services at the University of Regina is going to be with us through the 2 days. And he is AV Services, his username, AV Services. He's the host. So you're welcome to type any technical questions that you might have to Steve as well. And thank you so much to Steve for all of his support over these last few days as well. We also have live closed captioning or live transcript enabled for this meeting. So if maybe you prefer to have subtitles, that is fully available. To enable those subtitles or live transcript, all you have to do is click on the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen, and you can choose whether you want to have the subtitles scroll across the bottom of your screen, just like you would with a TV show or a movie, or you can have the transcript come up in the sidebar. So for the sidebar, you would pick view full transcript, and for the subtitles, you would pick view subtitles. So please feel free to use those accessibility functions. I know I like to have subtitles as well. It helps me follow along, and feel free to use that if you wish. At this moment, I'm going to now turn it over. Before turning over to Magda, who's going to describe some of the broader Seizing the Moment project, I'd like to invite our research assistant, Ailish Abrams, to please tell us a little bit about the French translations that are available for this event as well. Ailish is bilingual, English-French, and she is happy to help you out with any French questions you may have. So Ailish, over to you.
Bonjour, nous avons des résumés en français disponibles sur le site web de CCEC. Donc, veuillez consulter le lien dans le conversé. Mais c'est tout. Merci.
Thank you very much, Ailish. All right, with that, I'm going to call upon Magda Gomans from Community Campus Engage Canada to give us an overview of the entire Seizing the Moment project. So Magda.
Thanks, Amber. It's great to see all of you here today, and thank you so much for taking the time to be part of this event. As I mentioned before, but for anyone who's just joining now, I'm Magda Gomans, and I'm very happy to be joining you today from my home office in Ottawa, located on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. basically, Community Campus Engage Canada, or CCEC as we like to call it, we're building a broad network and knowledge sharing community to support participants in the many different community campus research and learning partnerships that take place across the country. And we certainly welcome, anyone who's interested in being part of a partnership or just learning more about them. So I see that we just have a few minutes left, and so I'll just do a quick run through of the project in general. During this past year, we've all been experiencing the pandemic. We've been experiencing a lot of different changes. And so within Community Campus Engage Canada, because we are building this knowledge sharing community, we were aiming to take a look at what was happening, learn about what's going on in communities, and learn from communities as well. And so with the University of Regina, the Community Engagement Research Center, with Amber and Lynn, together we worked, the three of us, basically on this project, this Seizing the Moment project. And as Amber had mentioned, this project is essentially aimed at, as I said, learning from communities and thinking about what kinds of community campus partnerships can benefit our communities and all of us as we move forward. This workshop, this is definitely the biggest part of this whole project, this 2-day event, but it is one of 3 different aspects of this project. The first, the workshop. The second, a series of post-workshop webinars or discussion sessions that we'll be having between the end of June and into the fall, so into September, October. And those workshops and discussions, those webinars and discussion sessions, they're essentially meant to keep this conversation going. And so I'd like us all to think about this workshop as wonderful and meaningful as it is, and as we hope it will be, as one step in a long process along this year of continuing a conversation. So that is the second aspect of this project. And the third aspect is our project webpage. I'll post a link to that in the chat as soon as I'm done chatting here. And we essentially encourage you all to add to that webpage. There are different things that you can contribute there. There's a list of resources that we've been assembling, and we encourage any of you to please send along to cceccanada.ca to send along any ideas for that. We also have a map on that page where we're trying to share some stories about community impacts, community strategies, and community campus partnerships coming from this pandemic and through this pandemic and moving forward. And basically there are some spaces as well there, some Padlet walls where we encourage you to post comments. We've had the site up for a little bit of a while now, and I've noticed there's a little bit of shyness, I think, in terms of submitting some comments, but I would very much encourage you to do that. And we have one of the Padlet walls on that site that is at the bottom of that section is encouraged at general comments and questions. So I would encourage all of you over the next few days in particular to add any comments there as well and any questions.